What's up, guys? Welcome back to our channel, and this is the Cozy Couch Conversations with SHANZ and Debs. I'm SHANZ,
And I'm Debs.
and this week is a highly requested topic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
But everybody want to know.
Yeah, how we resolve conflict in our
Yes.
relationship. So,
Yes. And if we argue.
yeah, like, are we giving picture perfect online, guys?
And if we fight. And
Uh,
them things.
So we're gonna dive into that this week. But first, how are you doing this week?
Well, I can't say I'm tired because every week I say I'm tired. So I'm not tired. Me alright.
Okay,
I had a productive week.
that's good. And I'm okay as well. Apparently, I'm always okay.
You're sure you're alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just mellow today.
You're mellow today. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I can
So,
appreciate that.
so guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe before you even get any further in this video. Please and thank you. Remember to share with your friends and follow us on Instagram and on TikTok at SHANZ DEBZ. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna dive into today's episode, and it's conflict resolution in relationships. Yeah, so basically the first thing, why is conflict resolution so important in a relationship? What's your take on that, babe?
Because without it, you're going to left.
Plain and simple. If you don't resolve your conflict, you're gonna just end up break up,
or you're gonna left with scars and trauma and them thing there.
Or you just like in a one toxic relationship.
True.
Cause it's gonna be, it just like keep happening over and over again, and you can't leave the person, so you just like keep, something that is very toxic, I suppose. Yeah. What are some of the common causes of like conflicts in our relationship and maybe in general?
Okay. So basically, we argue over all kind of foolishness. All kind of something where when you look back at it, you say to yourself, Jaja, what did really start this in the first place?
Yeah.
So which really has like a root in, I feel like, past trauma, like communicating a certain way, and maybe Shan don't like it, or she communicating as she says something and me take offense to it, or you know what I mean, like we're both feeling moody, and I may feel like you're not being, comforting and gentle enough with me, or you may be like in a mood and you just want to be in your mood, and maybe I want to fix the mood quickly.
Yeah.
Or find what the problem is and fix it. And then like communication problems as well.
So our main conflicts, when we do have our conflicts, are basically communication then. Like even though we do communicate well, we still don't communicate at the same time, and then that causes most of our conflicts.
But I think so.
So it's mainly when we are like in a mood and that we don't communicate with each other properly.
Yeah.
And okay, I get that, and I can appreciate that because I feel like that is true. Okay. What were you gonna say?
Or like when we are, sometimes if like you have a bad day, or there's something going on with you, maybe you remember something from the past, or you're dealing with, stuff in life. Like Shan and I have had to deal with like grief on more than one occasion in our relationship. And like sometimes when you're having these feelings, you're not able to communicate with your partner as well as you would like to, right? Or if as effectively as you normally would. And I feel like in past videos we've spoken about how we communicate differently, and we it's almost like we speak different languages then.
Yeah, we do.
Because our life experience would be different, which is normal for, any person in any relationship. You're never raised with, you weren't raised in the same family or the same way. So there are differences and you communicate differently. And so that would cause our conflicts, because like one day I may not be able to
vocalize or communicate how
Mm-hmm.
she is feeling, and I take that a certain kind of way, and
Mm-hmm.
so that may cause a conflict. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so basically the main causes or the common causes of our conflicts are
Mm-hmm.
basically differences in how we communicate when we're feeling a certain type of way.
Mm-hmm.
But we do communicate in this relationship, because if not, we wouldn't be able to resolve the conflict. It might take a little while sometimes,
Yeah.
like hours and hours and hours, but a lot of feelings, a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
doing irrational things in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
she'll look for me. Yeah, because when I do have arguments with Debbie, all I'm thinking about is just going, just go clear my head, just pack my little knapsack and
Mm-hmm.
just leave the house and not telling her where I'm going. And so I don't like to talk in the moment. I just like to, if I'm upset and we're upset, yeah, I just want to go.
So Shani is a pack up my bag and left type of person.
Yeah, like if we have an argument, I'm going to pack my bag and I'm going to go, because I'm not gonna sit down in the same place and in this big old uproar. Like I don't know. That's just how I
Yeah.
feel in the moment.
And she always said this thing, I'm not gonna say in here and you in here and the two of us in here and just we're in this mood. I cannot just sit here
I
in it
cannot.
like this. I can't just sit here in it like this.
And guys, sometimes I literally don't know where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, but I know that I'm just going to not be in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
Have
I
a pack up
feel.
my bag. I pack up my bag trauma.
Yeah, which I'm
Um,
trying to work on it. I don't know how effective that is, to be very honest.
it kind of. I mean, I feel like in the beginning where it would have taken you like a second to pack up a bag, maybe it's taking you like a half an hour.
So there's improvements in the time there. That's funny. But yeah, and I like that whenever we do have conflict in our relationship, I like that even though sometimes they really escalate, because we're human, and when they do escalate, it's like we do try to come to a common ground. So that is very important when you have conflict in a relationship. I find too that if you do have conflicts too, sometimes you may not be able to resolve it in the moment, because you guys are so irrational in that given moment. You
Or
guys
it
are
run deeper, or something that
exactly.
run deep.
So you may want to take a little time for yourself, and then you guys, when on the head not so hot anymore and you calm down, you can, talk to the person on a level headed kind of thing. That to me works. And for me, that is leaving and then come back. But I realize that leaving is not a good thing necessarily. Like that, the way I do it is not good. Like to just get up and storm out and not even thinking what I'm going to do while I'm storming out, or driving out, whatever. It's not
Or
safe,
if a day
or
or night or a pandemic,
right.
or
Not the pandemic, guys. Oh my God, story time, short story time. One time we had an argument. This was in the pandemic. It was a Sunday. That time there was a curfew in Jamaica.
What were we arguing about?
I feel like Debbie that was a very hard time for you that time, and I couldn't understand it for the life of me. It was
never really understand.
No, I didn't.
I don't think
And
we've ever really spoken about that
the argument
since. Yeah,
it was heavy.
We've spoken about argument, but like being able to understand what I was going through at the time. Like at the time, I know you kind of get it a little bit more now.
Yeah, I understand it now a little bit more, but it's like she was grieving and I couldn't understand the mood while I felt like I was doing so much, like trying to be there for her, and I never feel like I was doing anything. And so me getting in our mood too, and then I couldn't stay and I just wanted to leave because I never felt like I could do anything more. And so that's how I felt in that moment. And yeah, and I think that was the same day where we had our therapy session together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. story time. So that yeah, we did have a therapy session that same day after the argument, and I stormed out in the middle of the pandemic. There
In the
was
middle of
no
the
taxi,
night
there was nothing on the road,
in a
and I
rural
was
Jamaica.
walking. Yeah, she was up by her mom's house at the time, and rural area, and I'm walking down the road, and it was just crazy. And me know say me lose my mind because why was I doing that? And every time I think about it, I'm like, what the hell was wrong with you, girl? Get it together. But it's good too when you have somebody that you can trust. Emphasis on the word trust. And somebody that you can talk to if you and your partner having some kind of disagreements or arguments or whatever. And if you have somebody that is professional like we did, that can, guide us through what we're both feeling, that is also very important. And yeah, so I feel like Debbie and I, we find healthy ways of solving the conflicts in our relationship, because people might see us, because I remember somebody commented on our video one time and said we only post the picture stuff, perfect, the good stuff. But I don't think we need to come on the internet and bash each other when we're having a disagreement, because every single person have disagreement. You have disagreement with your mother, you have disagreement with your father, you have disagreement with every single person in all your relationships, like, romantic, platonic. Exactly. You're gonna have fallouts, your sister, your brother, everybody. So we don't take our problems to social media. We're not gonna do that. So obviously, you're not gonna say we're gonna post on SHANZ DEBZ, oh, we just cussed last night, yada yada. No, we're not gonna do that. So of course you're gonna see our pictures. And remember, social media is just for the glitz and glamour.
The highlight, like
it's highlights. No low lights will be posted. And so if you're not in our close circle, then you wouldn't know. And I feel like that is okay, because that's privacy, And so that comment did kind of like, yeah, whatever. But everybody been asking us this, so we said, all right, you know what, let's just do a video about this, because yes, we do argue, and I mean, we want to be transparent in that regard. Yeah. And yeah, so another real life story, when we just met. We had like arguments when I was in Cuba and Babe was here. You remember that, Babe? We had arguments.
We had a lot of arguments in the beginning of our relationship. So yeah, like a lot. We had like a lot while we were trying to get on that same page of how do we both communicate,
right?
How do we both react when we are feeling vulnerable? How do we respond when we need extra comfort, when we feel like we need love
and we need each other?
Yeah. And the way that, like, in a relationship where you don't want nobody take you for idiot, or you don't want nobody come disrespect you.
So we were very careful in the beginning. Yeah. But we used to argue and bicker about every little thing, because Debbie used to tell me she not get younger, she older, and she need to know if this is serious, because she not gonna waste her time and yada yada yada. And so we
waste no time. And I kept reminding you
about that. But what we did in that time, I remember one time because remember, I communicate different from Debbie. And we both grew up differently in how we express ourselves. So we kind of did have to come to a common ground and, try to figure out how we both can, compromise or communicate in a way that where we both can hear each other. So when we did just start for that, this was like the first year, babe. It was like probably months after. And we took a little break. We said it would be a week.
Yes.
We told it this was like less than a year. We took a break. So it was like less than a year into the relationship, and it was like a 1 week break. Mind you, it didn't last the week. We started talking back like 3 days later. And even though it was a break, I feel like it wasn't a real break, because we only said good morning to each other.
Oh yes, we did like
say good morning, and then we don't talk to each other, and then we say good night, and that's it. And then on the third day, I think we both were like, we should talk. But what we did were like, we said we're not going to come back on the phone and talk to each other until we wrote down our needs and what the other person can improve on. And we did that, and I feel ever since we never ever take a break.
Yeah, we
after
had
that.
we gave ourselves like a little assignment,
Right. And
in that one, and so
we wrote down all the things. Well, I wrote down all the things that I would like from her, and she wrote down all the things she would like from me, and we just do our needs and our wants and what we're willing to take and what we're not gonna take,
like deal breakers,
yes, and stuff.
like that.
And it was really good, and it was very productive after we read them to each other, and we make an effort to keep that in mind at all times.
Cause here's the thing with conflict too, and with like making a relationship work with somebody. Them I go sometimes them need reminding, right? So especially, all right. What would be an example now? Like, all right. So my love language is physical touch.
Okay.
And yes, your love language is?
Mine is quality time.
Quality time. I feel like Shani's own has changed throughout the relationship.
Yeah,
a couple times. So it was
words of affirmation first, and now it's quality time. When we retake the test the other day.
Yes, it's now quality time. So like,
but yours has changed too, except that physical touch is now, it's still at the top.
Yeah,
it's always been, but acts of service has been, it wasn't that high, but now it is the second thing.
Yeah. Right. So now, yeah, for me it's physical touch and what?
Acts of service.
And acts of service, right. So like I feel like in the beginning of our relationship I had to kind of express that physical touch is, you know, something that me like and thing, and you know, and I feel like where I'm going with this is that I see, like, if we have an argument, I see where Shanice will improve, like, surrounding that. She'll improve that. She'll work on ways to, you know, emphasize, you know, being more caring and being comforting and all of these things. And in times where she's having like a stressful time, I see where, even though she's having a stressful time, she will, you know, do things to try to make me to say, yes, even though I'm having a time, I remember you. And I don't just clam up and, you know.
But I feel like it's the same thing with you too. Like, you are having a hard time, but you still try to make me feel like, hey, I see you having a hard time. Just know that I'm here.
Yeah.
You do that for me as well. And yeah, that's so somebody had asked us the other night on TikTok Live how often we argue. And I don't think we argue very often. To be very honest with you, we don't argue a lot. I feel like we argue once every 4 months.
It's 4?
Once every 3 to 4 months.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, so in a year, how many times did I argue? 4 or 3 times?
I don't know if it's that many. Maybe
that's like what I'm saying.
In a year, maybe twice in a year.
In a year, exactly. So that would have been every 6 months.
Like where you pack up a little pink bag. You maybe like maybe once a year for that now.
Yeah, I feel like I don't pack my bags that often again, but I feel like arguments we have that like twice a year, or let's say 3 times for the year if we're pushing it. Because let's just say we push it. But yeah, I feel like we do try to find healthy ways. And when I say people ask what are healthy ways of, you know, resolving your conflicts, for us I think it's mainly communicating and say what happened, and you know, we try to discuss the problem and how we're gonna fix it,
and hearing what the other person is saying.
Because Debbie had a problem with that, you know. Debbie not listen.
Yes, it look like whenever
she not listen. So she just like attack, and I have a problem with shutting up in an argument. So she not listen and me not shut up.
Yes, I'd never seen it before. I remember this. I feel like I told you this other day too. Like, I never seen this before. Like Shan have to get her word in. So she will talk and this was that and that was that and that. And you think you calm down now, and you try to fling into it. And that. And then she and that.
and even though I'm talking, she's not listening.
Yeah.
So it's like we
You
just
can
keep
never
going.
realize.
So yeah, so you see that we kind of have to acknowledge the problems and then we try to work on them and fix them. So that's how we do our relationship conflicts. It's no what should I say? It's not magic or it's not superpower and it's not gonna work overnight. It takes dedication. It takes.
Sometimes you need sometimes you need a mediator, sometimes you need somebody who mean the both on well, who can hear it from a different perspective and kind of translate what the two are trying to say to each other.
You know, I find that Debbie will reach out to my best friend or she will reach out to my mom recently in an argument and whatever. But you know, when I had an argument one time with Debbie, it was really bad. I was in Cuba. I feel like in Cuba we had a really good relationship, but the distance really did make us argue too. But there was this friend of mine, Kisses, and she truly like the girl was so unbiased and so true. It's like when it's like she wasn't taking any sides. She like laid down and then I'm like, Bombard, this is an eye opener for me because the girl literally was like, Shan, you need for. It was so freaking good and
it was so clear.
It was so clear.
Kisses for that.
Listen,
because
I couldn't see Debbie's point of view at all, and I couldn't understand. And the girl, she literally wanted to know both sides before she even put on her opinion, and her opinion was just an eye opener. And I'm like, yeah. And from that is like I always I gotta remember the moment there because I feel like that's what I needed in that time. Somebody to be true to me and not be on my side and pretend like, hey, you're right, even though you're wrong. Even though it wasn't a right or wrong situation, it was just to understand the person's perspective as well and know that you have a point, but she also have a point. And so appreciate that and I love that, you know. So now we do try to see each other's perspective as well, and we're not just. I mean, yeah, I feel like we do try to see each other's perspective. You think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think one big thing too that I've learned is that in an effort to show that your feelings are valid, it doesn't mean that the other person's feelings aren't valid.
Right.
Too.
And I've come to learn that as well.
And you're both allowed to have your feelings. Just because I am feeling a certain type of way doesn't mean that I must take all of your feeling as well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't mean you should ignore your partner's feeling, and because you're feeling some type of way, your feeling is the only feeling that matter. I think you're in a relationship, it's both of you guys, so you kind of have to be mindful of the other person's feelings as well. Like you don't just want
and try to see it from
this is why I think that sometimes when you're in an argument with your partner, whether it's a big argument or a little disagreement or whatever, I think it's very important to take a break. Not like a break from the relationship, like take a break for pause the argument and think, you know, whether you go outside and take some fresh air and then you come back and talk when both of you guys are calm. I feel like that is very important because I feel like in the middle of the argument, nobody is really listening to each other and it's just but when it's so irate, it's like you cannot hear and you cannot listen.
You're trying so hard to let the other person hear you and understand you that is like you not hear nothing.
Right. And you're trying so hard to be right as well. And sometimes in a relationship, it's not just try to focus on what the problem is and know that the person is not the enemy. In this, you know, it's the problem that is really the enemy. So just focus on the problem itself and not hate each other. And another thing I appreciate about our relationship is that when we argue, we don't get disrespectful with each other.
Right. Yeah.
And that's very important to us. Like
you have to have ground rules to arguing. I mean,
don't cuss me out and say no derogative thing to me, derogatory thing to me. Don't be
like condescending or
Yeah.
disrespectful or hurtful. You have to, at the end of the day, have respect for your partner
Yeah.
as a person, and you're not trying to demolish anybody
And break down
and
them
break down
self-esteem
people
and
and
them
them thing
character and them
there,
something
right?
there. Don't do me that, because the moment you do me that, I may just want to go, because I feel like each time I argue, I'm going to feel some type of way and feel like I'm walking an eggshell in the relationship where we can't have a disagreement. And I feel like that is unhealthy. I feel like we can't have disagreement because we're going to see things differently sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and disagreements can also be conflicts, like,
Mm-hmm.
So that's a one thing that's very important to me. Don't cuss me. I tell me nothing nasty. Don't do that, and I won't do it to you either, because if we're gonna go back in a bed tomorrow, are you me just call big old, don't do that to me. Don't do it to me. And so that for me is very important. I don't want you to be disrespectful to me, and I will not be disrespectful
And
to
no
you.
physical abuse.
And no physical
We
abuse.
don't.
Yeah,
That's another
that is
rule.
that's another thing. Yeah, guys, so let us know what are some of the things that you do in your relationship to resolve conflicts and stuff, and whether it be a platonic or a romantic relationship, like how do you resolve conflicts in your relationship? Let us know in the comments. I have here, well, basically we discuss everything here on this list. Is like we just basically wrap everything in one.
One thing we never spoke about is therapy too.
Oh, it's a seek professional help. I have that on this.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, talk
Seek
about that, babe.
professional help. So therapy is something that Shannon and I are big on. I know that it may not be in our culture generally, to go to a therapist or to to talk to somebody professionally. When you're having issues or when you want to see things from a different perspective, therapy is not gonna be a magic trick, but it can, as I said, help you to see things from a different perspective and help you to know yourself more and know what it is that you want,
Right.
to know how you tick, to know maybe the root of why you do the things you do. Why do you respond the way you respond to certain things? And in doing that, you can probably communicate that more clearly to other people.
Yeah.
And it helps with conflict resolution too. You can also go to couples therapy. It's not a magic trick.
It takes work. You have to be open-minded and say, yeah, you're going to put in the work, because a therapist is just a guide. They're not going to do the work for you. You have to do the work for yourself and to better yourself and to be in your relationship.
Right.
It works for us because we are committed to making it work for us. So we know that the end goal, or what we really want at the end of the day, is to ultimately spend the rest of our lives together
and to grow together.
Right. So we try to make an effort to do the things that will allow us to grow together and stuff. And I feel like I have grown so much in this relationship in the way I communicate, and you too.
Because some things I used to be so oblivious to, and as we say, the listening thing, like we just couldn't hear from another perspective.
And it's true, and I experienced that with you.
And I used to have this thing where and I still have it to some extent. Like I have this kind of isolating thing where if there's a problem that I have, I will just kind of cut off people or isolate myself. That is something that I have been working on from the beginning of time. I feel like I've been improving though.
You have.
And getting to the root of it, so that it don't affect us as much and me as much. But yeah, you learn a lot about yourself. Like conflict makes you learn a lot about yourself and other people too.
Yeah.
And therapy can help with that.
Yeah, it can. It definitely can. So to answer everybody's question, yes, we do argue, but we resolve them And we have a rule in a relationship where we never go to bed angry at each other. We try our best to resolve it. I mean, I feel like recently we did go bed.
We sleeping at the living room.
Yeah.
we
We both slept in the living room. I don't know why we never go in the bedroom.
Sleep because of the rule.
Oh yeah, it was the rule. We were trying to stay up, but we ended up falling asleep in the living room, both of us. And yeah, that was the very first time. But yeah, guys. So to wrap things up, what are some tips that you would leave with them on how to resolve conflicts? Like, what would you say to them?
Like one particular thing is try to hear from the other person's perspective. Try to hear from the other person's perspective. And two, try to learn as much about yourself as possible so that you know why you respond to things a certain way and what the triggers are and the root of certain things are as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. And you should also learn to forgive your partner too. Like, no, say it happened, just as you're working through the problem, just try to forgive each other and know that it's all love at the end of the day. Remind your partner that you love them. And show them that right. Yeah, and find effective ways of expressing your thoughts and your feelings. And always remember that your feelings are valid, that you're trying to get across, and the other person's feelings are also valid. So never invalidate each other's feelings in the relationship. And finding a common ground is also very important when you're trying to navigate resolving a conflict in the relationship. So yeah, that's it. Baby actually said everything already. Participate in active listening, communication. Yeah. So those are what we have to say about conflict resolution, guys. That is it. No rocket science, no manual that we're following. We're just two people living life, and we are gonna agree to disagree sometime or not. But we are actively participating in being better for each other and making sure that our conflicts never get to the breakup part. We do try to resolve them. And I feel like Debbie and I, we have fundamental values. And we have literally nothing in this relationship. Well, I have nothing in this relationship to worry about. It's the first relationship. I can go to my bed and sleep, not having to worry about anything at all. I feel so safe and secure. So it's like I do, and I always say this. I feel so safe. I don't have to do no investigation. I'm not have to do no PI SHANZ. I'm not have to do no mood anymore. I am so secure and I am so safe and I'm happy with that. So when we have our conflicts, it really break my heart. I'm really just break down, but because me don't want to lose her, so it's like I try, even though me heated and oh god, I'm stubborn too. Me too. Yeah, we both are. So it's like we have to at this you have to work on this and we're go, get to the bottom of it. And if we have to get somebody opinion or get professional help, that is something we're going to do because we're actively making an effort to stay together for the rest of our lives. So yes, guys, so comment down below, let us know if any of this helped you guys, for those persons who have been asking, and also let us know what are some ways that you think people can take from you to resolve a conflict in whatever relationship that it is that they're having. And you can also give us some tips too, like say, what do you think we can do the next time we have an argument, hopefully next year. But yeah,
tell us if you think that every conflict you can recover from it, because
not all of them.
Not all of them, yeah, which is the reality. Not all conflicts you can recover
What are some conflicts that you cannot recover from? No, we're gone in one different discussion. What are some
Why,
things?
for me, the bun thing, you know.
Oh, so that,
Them
well, that's
thing,
a
you know,
different
if we
thing. That
can't
is a
recover.
red flag and that's a deal
Yeah,
breaker.
yeah.
That's something is a deal
And the
breaker for you.
disrespect thing, me don't know if we can, get
Yeah,
in the conflict,
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. So that's our deal breakers for you then. Yeah. You know what? Next video we're gonna talk about. We should talk about what are, I don't know.
Deal
No, I
breakers.
already did that. Maybe red flags
Okay.
or green flags.
Red flag
Green
and green
flags.
flag,
Red
yeah.
flag and green flags.
Yeah.
That's a good topic for the next episode.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click like on this video. Don't forget to
Subscribe.
please,
Subscribe.
and thank you. We're trying to get to 2K since we're over
Watch
1,000
out.
now.
Watch out.
Help us get to 2K, guys, and follow us on TikTok and on Instagram. Love you, bye.